So dropshipping success is not really about luck. It's about avoiding mistakes. So in this video, I want to share with you just 10 big mistakes and how to avoid these dropshipping mistakes. Okay. So first, what the heck is dropshipping? Why should you even look into it? But that's a very good question. And dropshipping is when you post a product online to buy to one place, and then you ship it from another place, and then you pocket the difference. So for example, say you list an item for $10, right? And then you ship the item for $5 somewhere else. The difference is $5 and you profit. You arbitrage it and, kind of like buy low, sell high type of thing online with e-commerce. The reason to look into is it's a pretty cool side hustle, and you could do it anywhere you want in the world, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can. There might be some places where it might be difficult because of whatever. But anyways, there's low startup costs. It's very flexible with your schedule, so you can do it around a job or anything. And it can be a lot of fun. You can make some good money too. So a big mistake that some people make, and I used to think this way as well, is you have to start from scratch. You have to build a website, get a domain, hosting, and then you have to establish this credibility and trust for a brand new website, which is very tough. And they have platforms out there like Shopify, which can also be very expensive too. And that's very hard because it's a lot of work. And again, nobody trusts the new guy in the block. So one real cool tip that you may not know is you can actually piggyback off the trust and brand of a popular website. It already gets 700 million visitors a month. Talking about eBay. Yeah, you could drop ship on eBay. So that's a great idea. Number two, and this is a big one, is not finding good products to sell. I mean, you have to have, they have to be very inexpensive and have not a lot of competition on eBay. Okay, those are some great items to list. So how do you find this? Well, instead of manually doing this, which, will take a lot of time and go crazy, there's software that makes it so easy to do this, okay? So that's another great tip. Use that software. You pretty much should do that. Okay. 3 is not making shipping free. Because here's the thing. If someone is in between two products and one product has free shipping, they're going to go for that. It's like psychologically embedded into people's brain. Thank you, Amazon, for doing this, but now everybody wants free shipping. So you pretty much should have free shipping just to get somebody off the fence, and it can really help you. And there's different ways you can do this. You can create a policy in eBay, and that's blog posts. I kind of walk you through exactly how to do this if you want to, how it all works, or you could do it every time you make a listing. Okay. The next one, which is pretty big, is return policies. You have to understand how the return policies do work. And because here's the thing, you're shipping it from another location, so you don't want the return to go to your address. You have to do a workaround type of a thing, and you have to kind of mention there's an RNA number here. Oops, I put NA. It should be MA. I just noticed a mistake on my little post here. Anyways, you should do that. And you got to send a little message saying, hey, don't send this to this address. Seller will provide you with one. Then you would message the buyer on the updated address on where they ship it to, which would be your supplier. The supplier means whoever you drop ship from. And you could drop ship from many different places. In fact, you could drop ship from Amazon. Believe it or not, yeah, you can list the item from Amazon on eBay and pocket the difference. If that makes sense. So you have to understand how that shipping works. You don't want to make that mistake. Okay. Another thing is forget about listings staying active when you're out of stock. There's also software that you can use for drop shipping, which will show one listing, which is really cool because it creates that urgency. Even though there's a whole lot more back there, you can only have one. It's a little psychological trick, urgency for people to buy. But you don't want eBay to end your listing. So you have to make sure you hit this little box saying listing stays active when you're out of stock. That way, you want sales history. So people can trust that as well. So little psychological triggers to help people buy, basically. Next up is you want to optimize your listing to get more views, and there's a lot of information on that. But the main thing is keywords. I mean, so people find you. And you want as much information as possible from the supplier, and you copy and paste it into your listings. Okay, and keep this part simple. Don't go nuts. All right. Next up, a big mistake is automate the shipping process for eBay. So here's the thing. If you're going to do like a few sales now and then, you can easily manually go to the supplier, enter the shipping address, right, of the buyer, get the tracking number and update eBay. But here's the thing. If you're doing a lot of that there's a chance that you can make a mistake in this area, and that would be very bad. So there's a tool here that will automate all this whole process so you don't have to work. And it really reduces the chance of a mistake like the wrong address. Oops, something like that, basically. So you want to automate the shipping process. Okay. Next up is convert the tracking numbers on eBay and Amazon. So what you may not know is Amazon and eBay, they don't like each other. They don't like each other. So the tracking numbers on Amazon will not work on eBay. This is important because if you drop ship Amazon products on eBay, let's see here, and something happens. There's like a case, right? And you want to win that case. You want to prove that, hey, I shipped, the product was shipped, and here's proof that the product was delivered to the customer, so you could cover your ass, so to speak, right? But the cool thing is there's actually a tool that can actually convert that shipping number, tracking number over so it can work on eBay if you do that. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a lot to wrap your mind around, I know. All right. Next one, which may sound very simple and dumb, but you want to earn more than you spend every month, like duh, right? It sounds very easy and common to do, but I've made this mistake a few times. So you want to make sure that every product you sell, there's at least 10, 30% profit, so that you're making money, and your profit should cover your expenses plus more. Otherwise, don't do this, right? So yeah, you have to stop if you're not making money. And I'll give you a quick little story with domains. I used to buy domains and resell them. I made some money off of it as well, and I've lost some money. And there's some domains which I should have dropped, but I'm like, well, but what happens is your ego gets into it, and you're like, you don't want to admit you made the mistake, so you just keep on doing it. And we've all been there, well, with things that aren't working, but you continue to do them. It's really tricky on when to stop things. But if you're losing money, here's the saying. If you're spending more money than you're making every month, eventually you're going to go out of business, okay? And that's no good. So you want to make sure you make more money than you spend. That's really like 101, right? I mean, yeah. And of course, the last mistake is be consistent. Always be learning. But being consistent, I think, is also it's like a bonus tip. But you want to have a schedule. What works for me is I set a schedule, and I just stick to it every day. Whether it's 2 hours a day after your job, or if you have more time, you could put a little bit more time into it. But you want to stick to it. Treat this like a job. Basically, I would get a punch in, punch out clock if I could, and just punch in and punch out. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. And that's pretty much the hardest part, is sticking to it. So, I mean, there's a lot more to drop shipping than this YouTube video can provide, or this post that I made. I didn't even talk about customer service or all the, connecting all the tools to eBay and all the stuff. But I just hopefully want to give you an idea on how this business model works, kind of like just wrap your brain around it. And maybe some ideas on what you can avoid. So I hopefully can point you in the right direction and just give you at least a little bit of information that might be helpful. That's all this was about. And if you want this post, because I talk about these tools in here, and you can check it out, I'll put the link below in the description. You can click on it, and you can view this whole post that I made about drop shipping. And at least now you know what drop shipping is and some of the things you want to avoid, right? So there you go. Hopefully this was helpful. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.